If you love wildlife, then you know we are living in a golden age of wildlife photography. Here's a little proof. A massive gathering of giant Mobula rays off the coast of Baja. An intimate glimpse of a skull-rattling battle of Rocky Mountain bighorn sheep, or a pod of pink dolphins hundreds of miles from the nearest ocean. National Geographic's Untamed America series also includes a creature I have loved since childhood, but never thought I'd see in the wild until a recent trip to glorious Montana. So come along as we go looking for grizzlies. The elk calf is just a few weeks old, born into the postcard splendor of the Yellowstone Plateau. But the only scenery its mother cares about is the brush that will hide a baby too young to run. He hunkers down, stock still. But motionless quiet doesn't matter to the one animal that can smell him from 3 miles away. The mama grizzly is hungry and hunting for 3, and the fate of that calf now comes down to a shift in the wind. The bear loses her scent, but finds another, and lunch is served. 1 out of every 3 newborn elk will be taken by grizzlies this spring, but by late June, the calves are faster, the bears are fatter, and grizzlies have to find something else to feast on, which explains the barbed wire cage over our cabin window.
This is the remedy here. It's worked. I mean, I haven't had a bear in the cabin since last year. No, I'm just kidding.
But will this really stop a motivated grizzly bear?
No.
Casey Anderson is a son of Montana, a naturalist and filmmaker, long obsessed with America's most fearsome omnivore. In fact, after rescuing a grizzly cub, the two bonded so strongly, Brutus grew up to be the best man in his wedding. But big difference in temperament between a tame animal used to educate tourists
in this position, you don't make a noise,
and the wild version of Ursus horribilis. Among the best places to find them these days, Alaska, where they enjoy such a hearty surf and turf diet, including the occasional beached whale, that you can sometimes find them lolling in a food coma. But in the lower 48, the best bet is still Yellowstone. Yeah, back in the 1970s, Old Faithful had some real competition as the crowd favorite, because back then there were grandstands like this set up at the Yellowstone dump. Tourists would literally line up to watch the bears feast on their garbage. And when rangers finally decided to cut off that free lunch, it was devastating. The animals had literally forgotten how to feed themselves. Thousands starved to death, and the grizzly became an endangered species. To get a sense of how they're faring today, Casey will take us into the grizzly grounds just north of the park, after a quick lesson in self-defense.
Yeah, this is bear pepper spray.
With a nose 7 times more sensitive than a bloodhound, a blast of non-lethal pepper spray sends them scampering. What about if I say, I don't know, ran as fast as I could for the rental car? What would the bear do then?
Well, I'll put it in perspective. A grizzly bear runs as fast as a racehorse, which is getting close to that 40-mile-an-hour range.
Bear mace on our hips, we head into the hills, Casey's eyes flicking from the horizon to the trail in search of clues.
Looks like a yearling grizzly.
Now, are they just coming out of hibernation, or?
Right now, yep. The
And
big
what's
males
their general mood? Are they cranky?
They're hungry.
Morning people?
They just want to eat. I mean, they haven't eaten they haven't urinated, defecated, eaten, or had anything to drink for 5 to 6 months.
That always makes me cranky. We pass claw marks on a fence post.
Left its mark right there.
Torn earth where bears have been digging for roots and varmints. And after cutting through the woods, Casey connects with some old friends.
It's a gray jay, and for the last 12 years, I come to this exact spot. And I must be like leaving little crumbs or something, but they've always come and hang out with me.
Can I try that with a grizzly bear? And then, after wandering through an open meadow, we see them.
That's a grizzly bear there, Bill. First one. Get in a bunch. I'm gonna take my safety trigger off, so everybody just stay still.
The wind is in our favor, yeah.
Right now it is. Now if he sees us or smells us, he'll run away.
Casey says these are 2 of around 600 grizzlies surviving in this ecosystem today, no longer critically endangered, but still threatened by human population growth. In the past century, 8 people have been killed by grizzlies up here, but half of those came in the last 2 years. This is gruesome, but does a grizzly feed then on a human victim, or just
Usually not.
kills them and goes away?
Yeah, usually no feeding, but the second death last year, they did eat on him. Which made it a unique situation. They actually ended up euthanizing that bear.
Thankfully, these two are more interested in digging for roots and grubs than chasing reporters.
99% of people that live in Montana will go their entire life without seeing a grizzly bear.
And we got two in a couple hours. It was such fun. Thanks to Casey. Untamed Americas begins this Sunday, June 10th on the National Geographic Channel.